Welcome to the life of a thrift store shirt. I'm going to be your host Andrew, and we're going to walk through the life cycle of this shirt that I own and have gotten from the thrift store. So let's start with the circular flow diagram. And this represents the way that the shirt got to me and the way that the company that made the shirt can continue to make shirts in the future. So let's start on the left with cotton and labor. And what that is exactly is representing the 4 factors of production that go into making any given product. Those include land, capital, labor, and entrepreneurship. Land would reference the farmland that was used to farm all the cotton that was put into this shirt. Capital would be the machinery used to process the cotton, as well as any equipment or machinery used to make the shirts. Labor references the people that work in the factories and the farmers that maintain the land that the cotton is grown on. Entrepreneurship is the person that wanted to start the company, had the initiative to get this product on the shelves, and had the entire idea in the first place. Those factors of productions go to who? None other than Newport Blue and the Salvation Army, which we'll reference later. Those are the companies that will receive these resources and will make a product out of them. And the product they make must comply with the government mandated regulations. And so when it comes to clothes and things like that, there are certain textile regulations that they must follow. The most important one is the tag on the back of the shirt. It must say the textile composition of the garment, which is whatever it's made out of, whether that be cotton, polyester, wool, anything like that. It must have care instructions, which shows you how to wash it and how to dry it. And also there must be a portion where it shows where the garment was made, in what country, or if it was made in the USA. And all that information must be written in English. Another language can be added, but English must be on the label. And so once the product has gone past the regulations and is passed, it goes on to the factor market, which would be, where the shirt is out for sale and anyone like me, or in this case, some random person goes and buys the shirt. And so they go to the store and they buy the shirt and they spend their money, and now they own the shirt. And what makes this graph circular is now that the individual has their good, they give back to the factor market. And that is back to the factors of productions, whether that person is the person, planting the cotton somewhere else or giving labor somewhere else. They are contributing back to the factor market, which completes this circular flow. Now, that's not the only ring. There is another ring which has the little monies, and we'll talk about that. So the individual gets money from the factor market. They get paid for their work or they get paid for their goods. And they use that money in turn to buy products. That product money is revenue for the businesses, and those businesses will go and spend that money back on the factor market to make more products, which will go back to the individual. Pretty simple. These companies just can't make clothes willy-nilly. They have to be smart and decisive about what they make because there are limited resources on the market, and they must be conscious of what products they decide to make. We can see that point illustrated here. There are 2 shirts here. One design is the one that I have, and one is another one that I found that the company sells. And so they can't make unlimited amounts of both because that's just not possible with the resources we have on Earth. So I created this graph to show the relationship between the 2 different designs, and if you make this much of one, you can have this much of the other. So at this side of the graph, you can have all shirts of this one design, but you'll have none of the other. And you can see the opposite on the other side, design number 2. You can have a lot of design number 2, but you'll have none of design number 1. You may be asking yourself what the business may use to decide how much of each given product to make. And that is heavily dependent on supply and demand. The consumers choosing what products they want on the market. And that is based on their taste, or what simply, like if they don't agree with how a product is made, they can boycott a product and that product will no longer be sold as it is no longer profitable. You see this other shirt, say if everyone thought it was ugly, nobody would buy it, and so it would make no sense for the company to make more of that shirt since they could make so much more money by selling the shirt that people actually do want. This represents the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is what you give up when you make a choice, and so the company is deciding to make this shirt entirely because the other one is unprofitable, and so they are giving up the other shirt, which isn't a big deal because nobody wants it anyways. This is all to combat scarcity. Scarcity is how to use limited resources to satisfy unlimited wants. People want unlimited amounts of shirts, but you have to be able to create products that are profitable for you and will satisfy the needs of the customers, and the product must be something that the consumers are willing to buy. This can be where a company has to make a trade-off, and a trade-off is a choice that a particular person or company makes when they can't have both options, and so maybe it just makes more sense to devote the entire factory to creating this one shirt design because it is so profitable, instead of creating multiple shirt designs that are all fails on the consumer market. Another cog in the machine of production is global interdependence. In the case of my shirt, the shirt was made in another country, and the resources to make the shirt were probably also found in the country. That is because it made more economic sense, aka it was cheaper to have those things sourced from another country rather than in the US. But what is most profitable for the people in the other country is to sell their resources and their labor and then send those products back to the US to be sold here for a marked up price. And everybody gets a share of the profit, and people are dependent on each other both for the product and for the revenue.